Alright, final project presentation for Principles of Software Engineering. I tried to record another one, but trying to run this model while I'm recording is just not working. So I've ran the model. You'll just have to trust me that it works, just because the AI powering this is very, very performance intensive on the GPU and the CPU. That's just kind of how it works, but here's a really basic UI. It's even named the simple UI. I have some other ones that I've saved in some documentation so that I can go into this create UI function and basically mess around with just the massive amount of parameters that go on with UI development. That's basically what majority of this entire code is. Just you just got to find out and learn what all these different things are, like pad Y, BG, pad X, column, the grid, taking a text frame and creating a grid on the entire root, the window that comes up, the screen width and height, which I run with those. It pulls the screen width and height from the root, and then basically sets it as half of that for height and width of the program. It is still rubber bandable, though. You can still move it around. It's just where it starts out at. The whole model starts off just loading in this uncensored model. Checks it for CUDA availability, which increases performance from the GPU and the CPU, making it run a little faster, because some systems don't fully utilize the GPU when you try to load a model like this. So that just helps that run smoother. Generating the response with the prompt. This is the part that's a little bit, it's been interesting to deal with, because when you give a prompt like this, and this is a very simple one, give me a funny insult that uses 3 uncommon/complicated words or phrases. And when you give it this, it runs great, but the moment I start trying to get it to format that, because I want the definitions as well, that's part of the final result of this application, is I want it to give me definitions. So when it says ectoplasmic apparition, it should tell you down here what that means. And obfuscated quixotism should also be defined. Like those are the words that you'd sound really funny saying to somebody, and it's funny to read it, but when I start adding more to the prompt, it does get a little more complicated with its response. The goal is to get the response to display just the insult, and then have another button that'll take you to the definitions. That way I can integrate text to speech later, because I want it to read the insult, but I don't want it to read the definitions. So I'm going to have to get the response from the model, separate those, probably do some work on like the string, like get the return as a string, and probably like make sure there's a line insert before the definitions come up, and then separate the definitions into another variable and have those not read by the text-to-speech application or function that I'm going to add. And so integrating this with the UI wasn't too bad, getting it to work with the buttons and everything. It's getting it to function properly once the complication gets beyond this simple prompt. That's the next phases of it. Yeah, this is my IDE setup. This is just a very simple version of the UI. I'm familiar enough with it now to go through, and I can mess with some of these parameters and actually make it look better, change the colors up or whatever I'd like to do. But yeah, I tried to record this and earlier, and I tried to pop it up and then generate another response, but the performance lag that happens while recording with OBS at even a decent quality, at least enough so you can read the code, is too performance intensive to also run the AI model that is attached to this program. So you'll just kind of have to take it on good faith that it works, that I didn't modify that. You can see the prompt. The code's not even 150 lines, which is really cool, but from the top to bottom, this is a ton of parameters and a ton of things that I had to piece together from other programs that use similar functionality that I've made. So I kind of Frankenstein this together